Okay, my name is Sam Brown. I'm a physical therapist. I live in Monticello, Kentucky. I am from Monticello originally. Went to Somerset Community College and then to the University of Kentucky.
I taught in a health careers program and at the vocational school, and I taught anatomy and physiology.
Well, I'm Steve Merrick, and I'm president of Somerset Hardwood Flooring. We manufacture hardwood flooring, sell it throughout the United States. We have approximately 700 employees scattered out in 4 different manufacturing facilities.
I'm Cornelia Cooper, and I moved to Somerset in 1961 when I married Richard Cooper. And so I've lived here a long time.
Well, I was fortunate enough to attend Somerset Community College the very first year it opened. So I started in the fall of 1965.
Hi, I'm Doug Flynn, and I'm so sorry that I'm not there this evening. And I would tell you where I am, but I know many of you would be feeling sorry for me. And tonight's a night of celebration. All right, I'll tell you. Actually, as you are sitting there in Somerset and hopefully in a very nice, warm room, I will be in the Caribbean someplace with the Cincinnati Reds on an annual Reds cruise. And, you know, somebody had to do it, and I was one of those guys they fortunately decided to take. So I will be thinking of you, and I really am sorry I'm not there.
My name is Danny Ford. I'm a vice president of Ford Brothers Auctioneers and Realtors. I've been doing that for about 40 years now. And presently I'm serving as the Director of Surplus Properties for the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
I started in the fall of 1970, which was late August. My birthday's in late August, so I started about a week after I turned 18. So I was relatively young when I started college. And I was there from 1970, and then in the spring, the fall of 1972, went on to University of
We
Kentucky.
got the nursing program started. And people at the hospital used to say to me, if we didn't have the nursing program, we wouldn't have a hospital here. And there's a lot of truth in that, you know.
Well, I was all set to go to the University of Kentucky right out of high school. Had already went up and looked for apartments or places to live, and I knew a professor there by the name of Billy C. Clark, and got to talking to him, and he said, Steve, you really should consider going here. Said this will give you a good basis and a good foundation, and you'll adjust to college life much better if you start out here.
Dick and I were very interested in education. And so I told you we were married in 1961. In 1965, they established this bond issue in Kentucky. And it was the first time it was money for education.
Our student body was very excited about having the opportunity to go to school in Somerset. And of course, we had students coming in from surrounding counties. So it gave many people the opportunity to go to college, to get higher education close to their home without having to have such a huge financial burden.
But it turned out to be such a blessing for me because it gave me an opportunity just to go to school and just to work on my grades, to meet some wonderful people. And then one morning, some guys woke me up and says, we're going to go try out for the Cincinnati Reds. And I thought, oh, yeah, why not?
I attended Somerset Community College from 1970 until 1972, majored in business administration. I left Somerset Community College and went to Eastern to get my BS degree there, and have been in business ever since.
An interesting point there is that the tuition at that time was $125 a semester and a beating heart. The scholarship was $150 a semester, tuition and $25 for books, and $20 a week for room and board or travel. So inflation has hit education.
When I came here, it was the one main building, and that's all there was. And it took a number of time for it to develop into the size campus it is today.
There was only 2 buildings, Meese Hall and Stoner Hall, I think at the time, and I think the library was built shortly thereafter, but those were the only 2 buildings, so it's changed drastically. Has grown a whole lot since then.
I just think there's so much interest in the college. As you know, at first it was just hard to get going, and
There was just one building. It was Meese. That's how we started out. You can barely recognize the campus now compared to the way it started out. It was quite small, but of course it was certainly large enough to accommodate the number of people who started out that very first year.
Oh man, the college, we had two buildings, I think, when I was there, and a big field where we'd all go out and play a little ball, and then we'd always play basketball in basketball season. We'd play softball and baseball, so it was just a couple of buildings, and but it was nice because everyone knew everyone.
Actually, there was two buildings on campus when I started. Over the years, we've seen that grow, and being a part of the legislature, I was glad to be a part of that and to see the facilities grow, see the enrollment grow. I think has been tremendous.
And then the other professor was Mike Douglas, who taught history. And that was the first exposure I had had to a hippie professor, because you'd see him in the hallway and, you know, good morning, Dr. Que pasa? Being from Monticello and having not been across the bridge very often, I didn't know what Que pasa was. I didn't know any of this. So, and you know, he had long hair and was kind of really laid back, but he was a good instructor.
I taught Dr. Burgess, who is a doctor in Whitley City, and he was one of my very favorites. And he keeps telling me today, and he told somebody in a crowd here one night, if it hadn't been for me, he never would have gotten through college. I doubt that.
Well, it's hard to pick just one. There were several professors there at that time that I liked, so I don't really just single out one professor, but I had several good professors and several good classes.
Roscoe Kelley, because the reason why I got to know them well is because I was starting Lake Cumberland Performing Arts, and they helped me, you know, through the college. And so then it started, you know, flourishing.
I loved Leo and Laura Weddle. They were awesome professors. Everybody loved them. They were such good teachers and related so well to the students, and you just learned so much in their class, and they kept everybody engaged, and they were my favorite professors.
Well, I like Dr. and Miss Kelley because they were, you know, where else do you go to a school where you've got the head of the school and his wife that are calling you by name and treating you as if you were one of their own?
Favorite class while I was at Somerset Community College was business law. John Swope was the instructor of that particular class, and he also headed up the FBLA club, which is Future Business Leaders of America. We managed to go on some trips and do some things that really I'd not had the opportunity to do before.
Yes, it prepared me because, one, being so young, I really wasn't mature enough as we look back. And so SEC gave me a chance to get an experience of college life, but also to kind of physically and mentally mature, getting ready to go to the big college.
I really enjoyed teaching some of these young men that have done so well today.
Well, I think it gave me a good basis in transferring from high school into the college life. Obviously, I was able to live at home, didn't have a lot of the temptations that you might have going on living away from home. And as I said, Billy C. Clark is the one that kind of talked me into considering SCC, and he told me, he said, your grades will probably be better by doing it this way than they will if you go directly to UK. And he said our students that transfer on to UK or Eastern or other schools also said they have really good grades. And I think he made a lot of sense by that.
The community college system was set up in California. It was their original idea. And so when Dr. Oswald came to the university and Dick was on the board, then they established the community colleges all through the state. And fortunately, we had one here.
It gave me a good basis for starting out in life, honestly. It helped me to develop organizational skills. It helped me to learn how to interact with people.
When you look back on the things that happened in your life that define it, the 1 year I got to go stay with the foster family and meet all the fine folks down there, that defined who I am today.
I just think that, again, the individual attention that you got at Somerset Community College was very important. Every class that I had, the instructors were willing to spend a little extra time, and they made you feel a part of it.
A situation like Somerset really in a rural area prepares kids a lot more than sometimes we realize, because a lot of children, their mama takes care of them, they get all this stuff in high school, and they go to a large school, and they have really struggle and problems, especially the first semester. And Somerset kind of eases that, and it phases them in and allows them to have that extra time to mature.
And I feel like it has improved our community and has improved everything around us, because it makes it possible for these students to go on to higher education.
A valuable asset to our region, and it gives a lot of people an opportunity to further their education and improve their lifestyle. And I think that is just so important, and I think our community should be very thankful to have SCC located here.
Dr. Marshall is one of my great friends, but she's such a great leader, and she expanded the college into the community, into the area around us, and into the state. So we got to be well known.
And it did a lot to kind of expand my horizons and help me to learn about different areas of the world and different areas of the United States and the way different people live. So in many ways, it opened my eyes to a lot.
I think what Somerset Community College did for me is it helped me to at least become disciplined, not only in getting my grades and my studies, but in anything else that I tried to do.
Matter of fact, my dad had a very limited education, but he knew the importance of it, and he stressed it to me and to my brother. And to know how hard that he worked and the things that he done to make a living really made an impression on me as to how important education was.
I probably would not be where I'm at today had I gone straight into another school.
In a community college, they have small classes with professors that really care about the students.
Obviously, the SCC is very important, not just to the Somerset area, but to the region.
I am absolutely humbled by this.
Just thankful for all that they have done for me, but also what Somerset Community College has done for me.